Hello and welcome back to another Wolf and Friends. Instead we're doing our first top 10 list. We're doing the top 10 video game Betrayals.
This is a really big list. It is our first of top 10. Don't worry, we'll still do top 5, but this is special.
So start off with our number 10. Princess Kenny or Kenny McCormick from South Park, The Stick of Truth. Now, if you haven't played the game, look it up. Yeah, just look it up. The reason why this is on here is because throughout the majority of the game, Princess Kenny is actually an ally to you. You can use him sort of as a squad mate, per se, like Jesus at some point. But later in the game, like near the end, once the government comes in, he betrays you for the Stick of Truth, and so you are forced to fight him once, and then he uses the Nazi zombie serum to make the boss fight even longer than it had to be. Throughout the majority of the game, he was a trusted ally to you.
But he becomes an adversary near the end of the game, where he's a tough final boss.
Plus, even in the show, I mean, you wouldn't expect Kenny to do a lot of things because there aren't much focus to him. So that's why he is on our list.
We know Kenny is from the cartoon, but The Stick of Truth was a very special game, and a lot of people were upset seeing that one of their favorite characters is actually a villain in this show instead. Very challenging and epic betrayal.
Number 9.
That's right. Tweety, the Looney Tune from the video game Taz Wanted. Yes, Tweety is actually a traitor in video games. Throughout the game Taz Wanted, it's a very obscure, old, classic GameCube game, but Tweety acts as an ally for you throughout the beginning of the game series, where he is the one who gives you advice on what to do, how to locate the Taz Wanted signs so you can take them out, and eventually it's revealed that Tweety is actually the villain instead of Yosemite Sam, who's always been a villain in the Looney Tunes games. It's very, out of nowhere that Tweety, who's known for being a heroic Looney Tune, is actually the master villain in this. You see, he is the one who trapped Taz in a zoo where Taz escapes and you have to destroy all of his wanted signs so he doesn't get captured and placed in the zoo again. Tweety is apparently the final boss of the game, where he fights you in a giant robot suit, where he reveals that it was his plan all along to betray you and attack you. For some reason though, Looney Tunes logic, he's helping you, only so he could watch you fail. Of course, you make it to him and you have to fight him over the island Tasmania in his evil Zeppelin. But it was a serious betrayal from out of nowhere.
Number 8. Admiral Havelock, Trevor Pendleton, and Teague Martin, three of the allies to Corvo Atano from the game Dishonored. They're on this because, as of course with all these characters, they help you throughout the game, but you have to gain their trust first. Once you gain their trust halfway through the game, they congratulate you with a toast, and when it's revealed that they secretly drugged you, and then they send their guard to try to kill you now, so you want revenge because they have captured the heir to the throne. Depending on how you play the game, if you have good choices, then the betrayal is somewhat light-hearted because they haven't harmed her. However, if you chose to do all sort of renegade options, you are forced to end up killing Admiral Havelock because the other two guys are just dead. But yeah, three trusted advisors to Corvo end up betraying you in order to control the nation, wherever it is.
We only combined these three as one category because they're all from the same game.
Number 7. Shay Patrick Cormack from the newest Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed Rogue. Although you actually play as him, the reason why he's on the betrayal is because he betrays the creed of assassins. It first starts out where he of course is an assassin, following the creed to try to get rid of the Templars. However, once he activates a temple of one of the first like alien species, that's what they go by in the game. He ends up destroying almost the entire town of Lisbon in Portugal, and that's when he goes against the assassins, and then later allies himself with the Templars. He basically went up against an army of assassins that is everywhere in every nation and works with their enemies and kills them one by one. Of course, having that difficult choice, it's not hard to believe his logic for betraying the Creed, but it is surprising that he actually joins the Templars and goes against what he first fought.
Seems like it's drawing a few parallels to a lot of famous historical traders, from the looks of it. But Shay Patrick McCormick is probably a dangerous trader in the Assassin's Creed, but I wouldn't know because I haven't played this game series, unlike my brother.
Number 6.
Mike and Bonnie from The Walking Dead, the video game. To be more precise, it's from the Season 2 game. Mike and Bonnie are actually friends of yours throughout half the game, which is very shocking considering that Bonnie used to be a hero that you got to play as in the first season of the game, and Mike is actually supposed to symbolize Lee, who was the hero you played as in the first game also. But apparently, the twist was these two are the biggest traitors in the Walking Dead game series so far. Mike and Bonnie help you escape from an evil town that's run by an insane maniac called Carver. They become your friends in that episode and the following episode, where they gain your trust and you see the goodness in them and they're actually friends. However, there comes a point where your friend, the leader of your group, Kenny, starts to lose his mind, and Mike and Bonnie immediately think that they're going to ditch you. Your character is a little girl, and they want to abandon you with a guy who's slowly losing his mind. This really pisses everyone off who played The Walking Dead, because not only are Mike and Bonnie your great friends and heroic characters, but they just betray you like that. They leave you after shooting you into the ground, and to make matters worse, they don't even get any punishment at the end of the episode. They get away with stealing your supplies and going with a crazy Russian guy who was your prisoner. Their betrayals are a very serious issue in the Walking Dead game, but hopefully in the sequel they'll get their comeuppance.
Number 5. Rourke from Call of Duty Ghosts. However, in the game, he actually starts out as the villain, although you don't know why. Later, it's revealed that he was part of the actual Ghosts with your father, Elias. It was sometime back in South America when you were trying to stop the Federation from sort of existing. They accidentally shot a missile into the dam that was nearby, and that dam caused a giant flood in the city. Then later, as you're trying to escape, you are forced to drop Rourke in order for you to survive. However, as you think he's dead, of course, like every villain, he comes back and is hunting the ghosts. His betrayal is very serious because instead of just going after you, he tries to kill every single ghost there is, and at the end of the game, when you and your brother Hesh try to kill him at the end, he falls into the water with the rest of the train, and once you're back on shore, somehow he's alive. No matter where you shoot him, it's in the heart, and he lives, and then he captures you to try to turn you against the ghosts. So imagine having a soldier who knows everything about your organization betray you just like that.
What's worse is he pretty much gets away with it in the ending too.
Number 4. Citra from Far Cry 3. Although she has some minor appearances in the beginning of the game, her betrayal was also on this, because throughout it, of course, she helps you with it, try to take down Voss and his employer, which I forgot his name. After you kill Voss, your Trials of the Rakyat are, like, getting completed, and then later, near the end of the game, once you get your younger brother out of control of the enemy, you you go back to the home where your friends were, and they were captured by Citra's men. You have two options. You can either take your friends back and leave, causing Citra to die, or stay with Citra and kill your friends. If you do that, she has sex with you on the beach, and then stabs you right in the heart, claiming that you would live on as a martyr.
Number 3. Wheatley, from the video game Portal 2. Those of you unfamiliar with the Portal games, Wheatley is a major character in the 2nd edition. Wheatley actually acts as your first ally, and you actually suspect that he wants to help you escape from the game that Gladys has made those tests for you to go through, but of course she wants to kill you. However, once you defeat Gladys, it places Wheatley in her place instead. Instead of releasing you like he promised, Wheatley gets corrupted by the core, and pretty much does the same exact thing as Gladys does, except more idiotic and dangerous ways because the facility's gonna blow up if Gladys doesn't get reinstalled in her core. Wheatley, you think he's a nice guy, and actually he's pretty funny, but pretty much since he betrays you and wants to run tests for his own amusement, it really upsets you that you have to go through all of it again. But Wheatley does get his punishment, where he's launched into space, thanks to you and Gladys teaming up. Gladys actually keeps her promise for once, and releases you after deciding that killing you is just too much trouble. However, it's made kind of sad that Wheatley claims that he was corrupted, and now he's punished by floating in space alone forever. Very tragic, but that's what you get for betraying your playable character.
Number 2. Albert Wesker. Although this might shock you as why it's not on our number 1, I'll get to that later. But of course, everybody knows Wesker from Biohazard / Resident Evil, whichever country you live in. He's always depicted as the villain, but if you went back and played the first game, you would know why. Apparently he was part of the STARS group to try to check out the mansion that also the Spencer had in the beginning. And then, as you keep going through the mansion, you and him get separated, depending on if you're Jill or Chris. And then near the end of the game, he is seen, like, in the laboratory where all the BOWs are, and he basically betrays you. And then, of course, you are forced to fight him with his superpowers, as noted in every other game.
But as you know, Wesker betrays everyone. He has like chronic backstabbing disorder. Everyone he works with will end up betrayed or dead, possibly both, of course. But Wesker only looks out for number 1. That's what makes him very dangerous. But Wesker's ability to go through allies also costs him. Once his potential allies who he doesn't leave killed for sure will always come back to take care of him.
Now, last one, our number 1.
Who is it?
Virgil from Devil May Cry. If you've played all the original Devil May Cry series, then this may not come off as a surprise. But I've seen the most recent one, so I'm going to go off of that. Virgil is your brother, the brother to Dante, that is. You are a species called Nephilim, half demon and half angel. Throughout the game, of course, he helps you try to take down the big boss who's also a demon, who's trying to take over the world, cliché. You give him your trust, and, I mean, he is really a jerk throughout the game. He's actually willing to put his ally to risk in order to kill the head boss. And once you kill him, there's a line near the end where that humans are free. Yes, the Nephilim can rule the earth. That's when you know that he's evil, and then it goes to the fight. Dante is forced to fight him, and sadly you can't kill him because he gets away with it. But yeah, your brother betrays you. Imagine just having that happen in real life. But yeah, Virgil is number 1 because he was so close to you in family lines. Now, with all of our numbers out of the way, our honorable mentions. the player.
That's right, because the player in any game, well, not every game, but in most, you have the option to betray anyone, even other players.
Or sometimes it will actually come back to haunt you, like game over, or you getting kicked from the game. You have the choice, or other people have the choice, to just be a complete jerk to you online or offline.
You ever played multiplayer with guys who like to troll their teammates by killing them? Pretty sick betrayal there.
Alright, that is the end of top 5.